Well, hello, everybody. It's Dr. Hank here from Agent Wealth Network, and thank you so much today for coming to our show because this is going to be another special show. And we have done so many different things with different people that have been top producers, $100 million businesses, whatever, and they've showed us some ways on how to do that and how to be professional. But today we're going to talk about the industry's #1 lead gen platform, and that is called Conversion. And Conversion has just upgraded their platform to KV Core. That's even more effective. And it is my privilege to introduce to you Christina Probeyahn. And hello, good morning, Christina. How are you?
Good morning, Dr. Hank. How are you?
I'm fantastic. You're in Florida, right?
I am. I'm just northwest of the Tampa area. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I was actually in Tampa Palms. And so do you know where Tampa Palms is?
Yeah. I do. Yeah, it's about 45 minutes from me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. And one of my children still live there. And speaking of children, Christina has 5 children and triplets.
Yes.
And so, and I know you have a sick child. You've taken your time to invest with us to really help us to understand KV Core. And could you share with us your story and kind of like, maybe before and where you were and what happened in your career?
So, all things said, I'm a fairly new agent. I've only been licensed 2 years. And I chose when I signed on as a new agent to join a company that had been established in our community, but was a small, local community company, not a big name brand. And the broker, awesome. He knew so much about real estate. I learned a lot from him, but he's very old school. We weren't even online. And for me, that was a real problem because I came from a network marketing background and I came from, sales and marketing degree. And it was just very challenging to work with a company that, wasn't really online. And so my business was coming strictly from my sphere, and I was doing okay, but it wasn't growing. And so I was very frustrated, and I would ask, how do I grow my business, Mr. Broker? And he would say, you need to mail postcards. And I would say, well, okay, but that costs a lot of money, and there's no guarantee, and it takes months to farm an area, and I don't have that kind of income to spend because, what little money I am making is going back into paying my bills and trying to get this business off the ground. And so a few weeks would go by and I'd get frustrated and I'd go, Mr. Broker, how do I grow my business? And he'd say, I already told you need to mail postcards. I was a little frustrated. And I was able to do some lead generation on my own on Facebook and some social media leads, but I had a very hard time doing anything with those leads because I didn't have anywhere to put them or do anything with them. I had no technology to handle those leads.
No follow-up, no drip
correct,
campaign.
And as you said, I'm a busy mom. I've got 5 kids, right? So trying to remember who to call and when and how and note cards, things here, sticky notes on my computer and, digital calendars, written calendars. It was crazy. So, I just hadn't found a system. And, I did research on systems and they all seem so expensive. And, when you're just starting out in real estate, everything costs money, right? And it's so expensive when you're first getting started. And so a lot of new agents like myself just didn't have that kind of capital to invest in some big system. So enter, where we're at now and Conversion, which comes with our company, which is amazing.
So you came and let me just talk a little about that. So you basically joined EXP, and part of EXP's opportunities, offerings that they have is just for $50 per month, you get a technology package. In that is what's called Conversion. And for those that don't know, Conversion is the #1 lead generation platform in America. They have 40,000 real estate agents that use it very successfully. And those 40,000 are typically higher end agents. And the reason why that is, or brokers, that I know a broker, in fact, I'm in Dallas, and so in Plano, suburb of Dallas, that his 37 agents, and he pays $6,000 a year for every agent. So it's like $250,000 because conversion is so good that it's his primary way to grow his business and to be able to keep his agents, if you will. And you're basically telling me if you join EXP, instead of paying, it's $1,000 upfront conversion, you have to pay $500 per month, which again, most agents didn't do. Can't afford, don't want to pay, and you joined EXP and you got it for $50.
Yeah,
You're a smart girl.
Heck yeah. It was the primary reason that I got drawn into EXP, honestly. There's obviously EXP offers a ton of things, but for me, it was all about lead generation and growing my business, right? And when I saw what conversion could do, I was just ecstatic. Yeah. So the story goes, I joined EXP March 1st, and I got conversion up and running on April 11th. I remember that day so clearly because we, as a family, were taking a trip to Disney World. That day. Yeah, and so I got it, and I was really excited, and I wanted to mess around with it. So, I took and I was, playing with some of the different tools, and there's a squeeze page generator on conversion, which I just love, and I used it to build a squeeze page for homes in an area near me called Spring Hill. And then I took that link that I generated and I shared it to a group that I'm in for Spring Hill neighbors, and just to see what it would do, right? And then I went on to Disney World, right? And so about 2 hours into our trip, I got a little notification on my phone that I had a lead. And I was excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, day one, I got our first lead already. And, but at the same time, I was a little apprehensive, Dr. Hank, because I knew that in order to stay in the number one mindset of your client and to win their business, you have to reach out to them immediately. Yes. And here I am in the middle of thousands of people with my kids crawling all over me in the 150-degree weather of Florida. And just no way that I could stop what I was doing at that moment and call this lead. So we about an hour or so went by and we stopped for lunch, and I was able to excuse myself for a little bit to go check my messages, and come to find out, this person had already emailed me. And I was like, well, that's interesting. How did they, turns out, while I was busy with my family at Disney World, Conversion had already emailed this person as me, had already text messaged this person as me, and this person had already replied to me thanking me for replying so quickly. Yeah, it was amazing. So that guy, a few days later, we got on the phone and he said, I'm moving from New York down to Florida. He goes, I was referred to another agent through my lender. He goes, but I'd really rather work with you because you've been so responsive to me. She's never called me back. And I said, sure. Sounds good.
While you're on your way to Disney.
Right. Yeah. I mean, all of this happened while I was at Disney World with my family. And it's because of what Conversion does, what KV Core does, the automation where it keeps in touch with the clients, and it's a smart computer, so it actually reacts to the client based on their behavior. So if it senses that client is a buyer, it's going to treat them as a buyer. If it senses they're a seller, it's going to treat them as a seller. If they disappear from my system and then show back up 2 weeks later, they get an email from me that says, hey, I noticed you were back on my site. Welcome back. Is there anything I can help you with? It's incredible. For a busy mom like myself, to be able to be hands off and still completely immersed and interactive with all my leads has just been incredible.
That's fantastic. And so this is why 40,000 real estate professionals across America, and not just EXP. In fact, EXP really is a very small portion of that are actively using it. But what they've also done is they capture over 500,000 buyer and seller leads per month. And so this is also listing leads. And you've had closings already because of this on listings, right?
Yeah. So, in the 6 months prior to coming onto this program, I had 2 closings. And in the 4 months that I've been in EXP, I've had 7 closings that all came as a direct result of my lead generation through Conversion.
Wow, that's
So
spectacular.
am I a top producer? No. Am I like
Yeah.
a multi-million-dollar producer? No, not yet. Not yet. I'm getting there, right?
Exactly.
But again, I'm only in my second year of real estate, and this is my
Right.
first time actually lead generation, working for me. So to be able to close 7 deals in a 4-month period has just been tremendous for me.
Oh, that's
Um,
just more trips to Disneyland.
heck yeah, heck yeah.
And so and then in addition to your actual closings, I assume you have a pipeline that is a pipeline like you've never experienced before in your life.
Holy crow, you're absolutely right. Yes. Right now, just in the 3 months that I've been, or 4 months, I guess now that I've been using KV Core, I've got well
Yeah.
over 300 leads in my pipeline.
How many?
Over 300.
300 leads. And
Yeah.
so, when you look at that, the sales cycle is typically 90 days. And so really what you've done is you've gone through the first sales cycle and you already have 7 closings. And then you have these 300 more leads that are just waiting for you. And typically leads are spread out, that when you get a lead, it's 3 months, some of them 6 months, 9 months, a year, some even longer. And this way, conversion, because of their CRM program, they actually keep up with those leads then for as long as they're forever.
Yeah, pretty much indefinitely.
Wow.
As they become inactive in the system, conversion does reach out to them, through a series of drip campaigns, and then notifies me when somebody's on my site. So
Wow.
it'll say, hey, this person's back on after 2 weeks being gone. Why don't you call them and say this? And it even tells you, so it gives you a suggestion on what to say. So I really like that. So
That's
there's
fantastic.
just so many good things about conversion.
Yeah, yeah. And so would you be kind enough, could you show us, could we get into maybe can you kind of take us on how maybe you start or whatever you feel comfortable with, but it would really be helpful, I think, to help us understand, I think, probably how user-friendly it is. So would you be able to share your screen and show us a little of that?
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Oh, great.
So, okay. So this is the dashboard of KV Core.
Okay.
And over here is my Facebook business page. So
Okay.
this is where I do most of my lead generation, is on Facebook.
Wow.
Now you can do on any social media platform,
Sure.
but this is sort of my wheelhouse, my bread and butter.
Yeah.
It is the most used social media platform
Exactly.
still to this day.
Yes.
And while Facebook is under some heat right now for their algorithms and their way that they use information, nonetheless, it's still the best way, in my opinion, to generate leads.
Exactly.
And I always say the very first thing you should do before you even think about generating leads or selling houses is to build your brand and to brand yourself. Because, as much as I love my companies come and go. I mean, I just switched companies less than 6 months ago. So I brand myself, right? And
Cool.
EXP is really great because they give us the ability to do that, as long as we've got brokered by EXP on there, So I am Christina Probeyahn Realtor, and that's what people know me as. And
Wow.
my website, my page is very content rich. It is, I've got personal pictures of my kids in there, I've got pictures of my listings. I've got videos of things that I've sold. I've got, Facebook Lives that I've done from open houses. Here's a Monday market update that I just posted today. I know it's Tuesday, but I posted it today.
I saw you put in there. Okay, I know it's Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, my daughter, as you mentioned, my daughter's been sick, and I just didn't get a chance to put it out yesterday. So
Yeah.
right? Because it's not about perfection; it's about just getting it out there.
Exactly.
And letting people see that you're real. Part of branding yourself is becoming likable and somebody that people can relate to. And you build rapport by being real. So I'm not afraid to fail in front of people, I guess. Yeah. And so I missed my mark yesterday with my Monday update, but that's okay. But nonetheless, you can see that I really take care in building this. I post 3 to 5 times a day on my business page. Now, posting on the business page alone isn't really going to get you anywhere. And if you post, lead generation type things on the business page, even that really isn't going to get you anywhere. You can share it to your personal page, you can share it to Facebook groups that you're in, and that will get you some traction. And I had some, some success with that in the past. To some degree, I would get, 1 or 2 leads here and there. But again, I never converted them because I didn't have a way to stay in touch with them.
Right.
So with KV Core, though, and this is one of my favorite features, is that they allow you to build a squeeze page.
Okay. And could you just explain squeeze page, what that means?
Page. Yeah. So in marketing, you have what's called a funnel, right? You're going to put all of your leads, all these people that are coming in and showing interest in what you have to offer into this virtual funnel, right? When they first show interest, they become in this top part of the funnel. And as they, become more and more interested and closer to becoming an actual customer, they go through this process of being squeezed through the funnel into the bottom of the funnel, right? I'm going to have 300 leads, but I've only closed 7 deals. So to put that into perspective, that's the funnel, right?
Yes.
So the squeeze page basically helps them go from one level in the funnel down to the next level in the funnel, to the next, till they're, a client. So in KV Core over here, they have something called Lead Engine, and there's several different options. Dr. Hank, can you see or do you see you on the screen?
I see your page. Yeah, we see your page. Yeah, it's good.
Great.
Yeah, you're sharing our new screen.
Okay, so over here on the Lead Engine page, you see right here it says IDX squeeze page. Now, IDX is just a way for us to take the information from the MLS and share it in a different format, in a different program. So squeeze page then takes the information from the MLS, and we're going to create a seller lead page.
Awesome.
So now you can do a buyer lead page too, but so like this up here, the multi-property would be, if you were looking for buyers, you would share, here's all the properties that are available for sale in this city at this time, take a look. And when they click that link, it prompts them to sign in with Facebook, which then gives their information, their name and their email address to you as a lead. And then you could also do a single property one. Let's say you've got a listing that you're really trying to get sold. You can promote that single listing through this squeeze page here. But over here, seller squeeze, that's the one I really like because that's where I get all my listing leads.
Wow.
So here, the first thing it asks you for is the source. And so I always just type FB for Facebook.
Okay.
Hashtag allows us to track the people that come in with this particular campaign, with this particular squeeze. So because I just did my Monday market update yesterday, I'm going to share information with my market, which is Newport Richey and Trinity. So I'm going to call this one Newport Richey Sellers. Okay, because I'm looking for people who want to sell their home in Newport Richey. Okay. Now, for area, what's cool here, you can choose a city, a county, a zip code, or a general MLS area. So if I just type in Newport Richey, it's going to pop up with all these different options, right? I can use the city of Newport Richey, the area of Newport Richey, or I can do Newport Richey, Seven Springs, and Trinity, which is the general area that I cover. So I'm just going to choose that. Now, I do go further than that, but this is what I'm going to focus on right now. The biggest thing about lead generation is defining your audience. Who you're trying to attract, right? And for me, right now, my audience is that area.
Got it.
So Facebook cover photo, it's going to ask, what do you want to use for a Facebook cover photo? We're just going to use listings from this search.
Wow.
Which really isn't going to have a search at all. It's going to give the user an opportunity to check their home value. So now down here, I'm just going to click generate link, and it's going to give me 2 links, a long link here and a short link here. I'm always going to use the short link.
Sure.
Now I can come right over here to copy to clipboard, and it's going to say link copy to clipboard.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm going to go back over to my Facebook business page.
Okay.
And right here where it says write post, I'm just going to paste that link.
Wow.
Okay. Now when I do that, this is what comes up.
Wow.
Here it says the average price in Newport Richey, Seven Springs, and Trinity is $334,000. What's yours worth? So now it's interesting because I just did a market update showing 58 properties sold in the last 7 days with a median price of 199,000. So, you know, that doesn't exactly match because it's an average, right? And we're using median in our thing. But nonetheless, people love this number because in our area that's really high.
Sure.
And you know, that 199 is really more, you know, what people are used to seeing. So when they see 334, I get a lot of comments like, no way is that our average, right? And then I have to gently remind them that we have a few affluent neighborhoods that are adding into that average, right? But anyway, so now I have to write copy on here that's going to attract people. What, aside from this little blurb here that talks about the price, and what's going to get people to click my link? So because I just posted my Monday update, I'm going to relate back to that and say something along the lines of, in the last week, 58 properties sold in our area.
Wow.
79 properties went under contract, and 71 properties became available for sale.
Hey, where did you get this data? Where did you get this information from?
So yesterday I went into my MLS and I just ran a report. I actually ran 3 separate reports. I limited my criteria to the last 7 days, and I limited it to the cities of Newport Richey and Trinity. And I ran one report for sold properties. I ran one for pending, and I ran one for newly listed. And so all I did is jot down those numbers, and I don't know if you can see my camera or not, but I jotted that information down to do my video yesterday. So I have it sitting here next to me, and I'm just using that information based on what I pulled from the MLS. It was a really easy, you know, data to pull. And people like data. They like to know that, you know, like, you know, is 58 a lot to them? Is it not a lot? It doesn't really matter what their perception is of 58 being a lot or not a lot. The idea is that whatever their perception is, you want them to be curious about it. So, you know, if it seems like a lot to them, they're going to go, wow, it's a lot of houses to sell in 1 week. Or if it's not, they're like, wow, the market's really slowing down. Either way, you want them to interact, right? So in the last weeks, 58 properties sold in our area, 79 went under contract, and 71 properties became available for sale. And then I'll say, have you been considering listing your house for sale? And then I'll say, use our, now here's a trick. Facebook doesn't like the word free, guys.
Doesn't like the word free?
Nope, they'll actually, every single thing that you post, they score, and they will determine where your post ends up in their newsfeed based on their score. So the higher the score, the more people will see your post. So words like free, comment below, you know, things that are egging people on, or clickbait, typically they score very low. So
what was the other word you used? Free, and what else? What was the other one?
You know, like telling somebody to comment below. You have to change your words to say, mention a friend, or you still want to call to action, but you want to avoid, you know, like this post, give my page a like. You know, they don't like stuff like that. They want it to be relational. Facebook's really big on growing relationships. That's why they created Facebook, is for the relationships, not for businesses to sell what they're doing. So in order for a business to be successful selling what they're doing on Facebook, the advertisement needs to be relational and useful information. So you have to think about everything that you say. Does this sound like an advertisement? We don't want it to sound like an advertisement. We want it to sound like I'm talking to a friend. Okay? So you just have to be careful about how you word your things. So, however, I still want to let people know that there's no obligation to use my value tool. So how do I do that in a creative way? Well, I take and I put little see how I put the little plus signs in between there? Right now, if I was on my phone, I do a lot of my work from my phone. You can also use emojis. They're a little more challenging to use from a desktop computer here. not as easy to navigate with them. But instead of those plus signs, I would use emojis. Emojis are a great little thing. They give some color and give the eye, somewhere to look. So like I would probably, if I were on my phone, it would look more like this, and I would put in here, I'd come over here and pick an emoji that is a house.
Yeah.
My commonly used ones here.
Oh, that's great.
You have the little house pops up there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then I'm going to pop over here, and you just want to get creative. You want it to be not too wordy. And you want it to feel relational. Give people value, right? By giving them numbers, I'm giving them value because, they're probably, if they are thinking about selling their home, they're curious what the market looks like right now.
Right.
Is it the right time to sell?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Use our free home valuation tool below to get a general idea of what your property may be worth.
Right. I love that because, like on the free thing that it's like, you have outwitted Facebook, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, and Facebook's not, they're not completely naive to this type of thing. It's just they don't particularly have a way to track it. So, not yet anyway.
Yeah, now it's a great time.
Dating.
Right.
All right, so I have one too many houses up there. All right, so you can see it, I've spaced it so it's easy on the eyes. It's not one big paragraph. I'm not using salesy words, although sale is also a word that, here, why don't we take that out of there? Because that's another word that Facebook doesn't like, sale.
Okay.
All right, so there's what my ad looks like.
Right? Now it's a great time to sell. Is sell a bad word then too?
Not necessarily, but think of it, if I was having a sale, a promotion, I would write the word sale, right? But sell is a different word and a different meaning altogether. So, we have became available. So I had sale in there twice, so that would have been a red flag for them. I wouldn't have been weighted very heavily. Okay. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Again, it's not about perfection. It's about getting it out there. These are just some tricks and tips to get it seen better.
Sure.
So now to get it seen even more, I'm going to come over here and add a feeling or a, I'm looking for, what am I looking for? I'm looking for friends who want to move.
Great.
Okay. All right. So now when I post this, it's going to say I'm looking for friends who want to move.
Wow. Look at that.
Now, I'm not going to boost this from here. I can, but I'm not going to because I want to share it and make sure that it looks right, make sure that I didn't make any errors in my typos or, anything like that. So I post it, I make sure it looks right, and then I boost it. Now, Dr. Hank, I spend $30 a week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's the most active days. So I boost a post on Friday, and I spend $10 a day for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so about $120 a week is what I spend in Facebook advertising. And from that $120 a week, each weekend, I generate about 10 to 20 seller leads.
Wow. 10 to 20
sometimes
sellers.
More, sometimes less. It just depends on, what the weekend looks like. But on average, 10 to 20.
Okay. Now, don't you do, so that squeeze page, that was Conversion doing that. So Conversion did that. It put it on your business page, and then you boost it, and so it's going to go then, and you can boost it to that area. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to show you next. But before I show you
Okay.
how to create that ad and how to boost that into a paid ad, I
Uh,
want to click on this and show you what they're going to see when they click on it and what that does
okay.
in my side. So when somebody
Okay.
clicks this post, it takes them right over to, look up here, ChristinaProbeyahn.exprealty.com, right? Shows a map of our area. Well, it's not our area, but it gives an idea.
Sure.
It says average price in Newport Richey, Seven Springs, and Trinity is $335. What's yours worth? And then gives them an opportunity to put in their address, right? So if they want to put in their address there, 123 Main Street, and then they're going to get estimated value, the next thing that Facebook's going to say, great, in order for us to send you the report, we need your information. Log in with Facebook here. Now, that person has one of two options at that point. They can back out, which a lot of people do,
Okay.
or they can click that Facebook button and then I get their information. They become a bona fide lead.
Wow.
And then I will then follow up with them and send them. So one
And,
of two things there.
and
So,
really conversion also though follows up.
so
When you say
yeah,
I do. Yeah.
exactly. So I guess when I say I mean conversion actually does that. So they send, after they give the information, they automatically get a report from KV Core that says what their house is generally worth. And
Wow.
then it puts them automatically into this drip campaign that senses that they're a buyer. And so for the next 6 months, over a period of 6 months, I believe it is, this program just automatically sends them emails, based on, the fact that they think they're a buyer. And if they click open those emails, then they get, different emails. It's
Yeah.
really, it's all behavior based. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's just amazing. So, and again, just to make sure everybody understands that this program actually does the valuation of the home. And so
Yes.
and is sent to the customer. And basically, Christina didn't send or do any of that work. That conversion did it, or KB Core, the upgraded product, did it. So,
Yes.
okay,
Now,
and
the other thing
yeah,
that's cool, Dr. Hay, is that if
yes,
they don't give me their email address, if they back out, they become what's called a valuation attempt. And KV Core, at least through EXP, has it set up that they automatically get a postcard from me.
a postcard.
Yes, sir. I tried that when I first got started. I put my email address in, or my own personal address in there, and like a week
Yeah.
later, I got a postcard from myself. Well, that's cool.
And talk about going full circle that, you were originally told, hey, go pay for postcards and everything.
Yeah,
And so now
exactly.
you have your technology and the postcard, because the postcard's, a fine idea because, it is unique and
Yes.
everything, but you didn't have to do it. And
No.
is that included with the fee on that?
Yeah, sure is. So it just happens automatically, which is pretty cool.
Wow, I'll be darned. I don't
Yeah.
know if anybody knew about that, but that's great. So,
Okay, well, try it. Put your own address in there, and you'll mail yourself a postcard automatically. It's pretty neat.
yeah, that's great. That's great. Now, I also think to get it out there that you had shared, you mentioned you shared it with the group, and
Yes.
can you talk a little about how that would play out?
Sure. So if I didn't want to pay for an ad, like if I wanted to pay for an ad, I could just click Boost Post right here, and I
Right,
could pay for that ad and get it sent out to a specific audience that I want, right? But
right,
let's say I don't want to pay for that ad. I can click
right.
Share here,
Okay,
hit the top one that says Share,
okay.
and then up here where it says Share on a page you manage, I'm going to change that to Share in a group. Now I'm in hundreds of groups. Every community group that I can find, I'm in and I'm part of.
Wow.
So if I just type in Newport Richey,
Uh-huh.
look at all the Newport Richey groups I'm in. I mean, that's
Wow.
just some of them, right?
Do you have to hit each one then, if you
So
want to?
you would put a post in each one, and you have to be a little careful with groups because some of these groups have rules about what
Yeah.
they'll allow you to put. Like this one,
Right.
I know Newport Richey Exchange, they don't allow business posts. They'll delete my
Oh,
posts, and if I abuse that, they'll take me out of
yeah.
the group,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Whereas, the Newport Richey classifieds, they're free for all. They allow whatever. So
Well,
I could easily post in there.
yeah.
And I have a list that I keep of what days, like some groups will allow you to have business posts on a certain day. So I keep
Yes,
a list of my groups that I'm active in, and I
that's
know
great.
that I can post on this one this day, that one that day, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
That way I'm not abusing my privilege of being in that group, and I don't get kicked out or, whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
You had 4 listings that closed, and all within the sales cycle. So it's just like
right.
amazing. And out of those, do you recall were any just from a group? Any of those listings? Do you recall?
Did they come from a group?
Yeah, did they come from a group, or is that a little tough
No,
to?
I would say that all of my listings came from the lead generation that came in and me
Okay,
reaching out to them.
okay,
Um, so mostly because I ran ads. The
okay,
targeted ads really, remember, you want to define your audience, right? This is
yeah,
not defining my audience by going to Newport Richey Classifieds. It's just
right,
a free way of getting the information out to people in my area. It doesn't
yes,
necessarily mean that I'm getting it out to homeowners
okay.
or, people looking to sell, or, with an ad, I can target specific groups of people, specific zip codes. I can say, there's just
I
more,
got it.
focus as to
And,
your
and when
audience.
you say an ad, that's the boost and what you
Right.
showed us? Okay, got it. And so you
So,
can, fine.
yeah. So, but this is just a great way to get started. If you don't want to spend money or you don't have a lot of money to spend, join
Right?
every group in your area you can find. Every
Yeah,
group.
yeah,
Join
yeah.
away. Just
Because
be a groupie.
yeah, I have an agent here who, in their first month using conversion, KB Core, that they got 50 leads. Out of those 50 leads, 10 buyers and 2 listing presentations. And it's
Awesome.
like, yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
if you do that in the first month, and they didn't spend any money. And then when they
Right.
started to just invest just a little, and I shouldn't even say spend money, it's invest money, because you have, think of your return on investment that you
Yeah.
have on just spending $30 a week. And so and then it's like tripled, and now he has 150 whatever leads. And so
Right.
it's just dynamic for such a little investment. But if you don't want to invest at all, and that's why we share, with you agents, that if you don't want to invest anything, that you still have this. And again, all of this is just $50 per month. And whereas it would cost, again, 6,000 a year, or 7,000 really with the first $1,000 down. So anything else? We have a few more minutes here, and anything else that you'd like to share with us that you think will be helpful for us to grow our business like you're growing your business, Christina?
Sure. First of all, there are 2 different ways to run an ad. The easiest way is to do this boost post, choose your audience, and just get it out there.
Okay,
It's the quickest and easiest way. It is not the most effective way, but it is the quickest and easiest way.
okay,
Okay. Over here, you can choose, what area you're targeting, what age group you're targeting, and then you can even set your budget here. You can set how many days you want it to run for.
got it.
And then, it's pretty simple.
Yep,
Um,
got it.
However, if you wanted to be more, advanced,
Uh-huh.
there's an ad manager that Facebook has that you would have to learn. It's a whole other class in and of itself. I'm not going to
Okay, sure,
get into
sure,
it.
right, right, right.
But this is the quickest, easiest, and least expensive way to get going, is with this boosting of a post.
Got
Now,
it. Okay,
my biggest thing is the follow-up, right? So KV Core does a really great job of interacting and following up, right?
okay,
But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't follow up personally. So I have a rule. It's a 3-3-3 rule.
okay,
And with new leads, especially listing leads, if they give me a phone number, they get called from me once a day for 3 days, then
okay.
once a week for 3 weeks, and then once a month for 3 months.
Wow.
And the other thing that KV Core does is it allows me to organize those calls, and it reminds me to do it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So as I call somebody, I'm going to show you here what that looks like. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
Let's see, Kathy Rogers, she called me the other day off of a sign on a house that I have for sale.
Awesome.
I'm going to, let's say I just called her to check in and she didn't, open my email, I noticed. So I'm going to call her. And so I'm going to click on new call here.
Okay.
I'm going to click log call. I got her on the phone. Let's say I got her on the phone and,
Okay.
she's like, oh, I didn't even see the email, whatever, I'm
Yeah.
take a note right here, take note of what she
Wow.
said so that I can keep track of it. I'm going to go contact it, right? And then the very next thing that it does is it tells me to schedule a call right here. I'm just going to say, check in with her. That's a reminder to myself. I might note something that we talked about the last time, and then I'm going to say, since she's a new lead, I'm going to check in with her next week. So I'm going to look here, the date, the 28th. It's a week away. I got a hold of her at noon, so I'm going to try to call her about the same time because I know I reached her at that time, right?
No.
And then I can sync this with my Google Calendar, which is kind of cool. So I get notifications from my Google Calendar.
Okay.
And I can do repeat calls. So let's say I want to call her every day or every week for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's my 3-week rule, right? So I'm going to repeat that two calls over 2 weeks after this next one. So I'll get reminded every single week for the next 3 weeks to call her.
Wow.
I just click save, and then conversion, KB Core, goes out of this thing here. Up here tells me in my dashboard, tells me exactly what to call and why.
Wow, that's great. That's
so here,
incredible.
I have 25 calls to make this week.
Okay, awesome.
So that's what that is. It tells me who to call and why.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's still very important to, make that outreach and call these people and send personalized emails as well as the system emails if you don't have a phone number. But, the beauty of conversion is, once you got leads rolling and you're doing deals, you don't always have time to sit in the office and make phone calls, right? So the system does it for you when you can't be there.
That is just fantastic. And then also what you brought up there, and where you have a listing now because of this system, and then now you're getting buyers, and so it's just getting bigger. It's kind of like dominoes, it just gets bigger and bigger and more and more, and you're growing, just a huge business. And this is how to grow a business that is one step at a time. So for wherever you are right now, enjoy where you are, love where you are, and then just ask for what's the next step. And here's a great next step. Christina, how could people get a hold of you? I know you're with EXP, I'm with EXP, and to share that good news. And so what's your contact information if somebody would like to talk to you about this or EXP?
So the easiest way to reach me is probably through social media. That's where I'm easily accessible.
That's how I communicate.
Yeah. So find me on social media. This is my name here, Christina Probeyahn. I know it's not easy to spell, but there you go. Probeyah. I'm the only one on the face of the earth, so I'm super easy to find. And so that's the easiest way is find me on social media. I'm across all the platforms, all the different social media outlets. If you're not on Facebook for some weird reason.
That's fantastic.
But then I also can be called. My phone number is 727-744-7211. And then my email is christina.probeyahn@exprealty.com.
Okay. What's your cell again?
727-744-7211.
That's great. Fantastic. Well, good. Well, and again, if you, for those of you that want to just see a quick review, you could go to DocHankWebinar.com. Also, it's there to understand how to get this KB Core, this amazing system, for just $50. And so, Christina, we thank you so much that you're just a blessing and a mom of 5 children, those triplets. I don't know how you did it. Did I see that the triplets, you have one child after the triplets too?
I do.
That?
Yeah, I've got a teenager. He's 15, almost 16. I have the triplets are 7, and then my daughter is 3. So yeah,
that's
brave and crazy.
After triplets, I don't know how you did it. You certainly are.
My girl. God knew I needed my girl.
And that's how you got your girl. That's just fantastic. Well, we thank you so much for your time, for your expertise, and again, Christina Probeyahn, and that really on how to build your business, and with KB Core, America's #1 lead generation platform. And we thank you so much for your expertise and sharing all this with us today.
Thanks for having me on, Dr. Hank.
Hey, you bet, Christina. And for all of you, we thank you. And remember that all you have to do is just think about the next good feeling thought, the next easy step in order to have your success both in real estate and in your life. So this is Dr. Hank wishing you all the best. God bless. Bye-bye.